Hi, I'm Grateful Ted. Thanks for being here because I really appreciate the time that you invest in watching these. Now, I didn't have anything to go to this week, and I've had several of you ask me about Toi Yoda here. They wanted a tour, and since I didn't have anything to do, I thought maybe this is the week to do a short video and tour Toi Yoda. We'll start on the outside and see where it goes from there. Now, Toi Yoda obviously is a pickup made by Toi Yoda Manufacturing. And the fact is that the RV part of it is a Winnebago Itasca, and there are various models. As you can see, this is the Spirit model here. So let's go ahead and take a walk around Toi Yoda, and I'm just going to call him Yoda because that is who he is to me. All right, so come on, let's walk around. So first, it's about 20 feet long, might be 21 with this back bumper, but I think it's about 20 feet long. There you can see it's a Spirit. Now right here, this is where we put in the propane. You can see I've got about a half a tank left. I'm not sure how it is in other states, but here in Oregon, the statutes state you can only fill a propane tank up on an RV to about 3/4. And so believe it's a 10-gallon propane tank. So we get about seven gallons. And the fact is that when I go camping for, I don't know, 4 days, 4 or 5 days, I usually use about a quarter of a tank of propane. I don't use a lot of propane, just the stove to cook stuff in, and or to heat stuff up, do my coffee, and then run the refrigerator. Okay. You can see I've got my Grateful Dead sticker. Grateful Ted has to have a Grateful Dead sticker. Longtime viewers know I go to the Oregon Country Fair all the time. That's my Oregon Country Fair 50th anniversary. And I've just added a Descend on Bend. You can see this is an Itasca by Winnebago. This area here all has to do with heat and hot water. For the hot water tank, which I think is 4 gallons, you have to flame it from outside here. You have to turn it on and spark it. Rarely do I use the hot water because I usually heat it on the stove. This is right here. This is how you add internal drinking water to that, and the internal drinking water tank is, I believe it's 11. It might be as much as 14 gallons, but I think it's 11 gallons. And then here is where you deal with electricity. You can see that yellow cord there. If I'm at an RV park, I have to use that usually in order to plug into landline. And then right here, I pull that out at home, and then I charge up the internal battery there and then plug that back in. This is the inside, and you can see, let me pull this down a little bit. You can see that it has 96,253 miles on it. Not bad for a 1992 pickup. So it's what? It's 32 years old. I want to say that it runs great, knock on wood. And it's very smooth going down the highway. Viewers have seen some of the video of me driving this. When we got Toi Yoda, it had 80 I want to say, I think it had 82,000 miles on it. And that was 8 years ago. Most of the miles, about 5,000 of those miles, came driving from here in Oregon to Pennsylvania and back. And we didn't have any problem with it whatsoever, except in Salt Lake City, we did blow out a tire. And I knew that we needed to do something with the tires. I wanted to do it before we left, but it never got done. And so coming back, we were going through Salt Lake City, it blew. I've since replaced all the tires. I drive from here to the Oregon Country Fair. What's about 250 miles round trip. I drive from here to Descend, and that depends on where they have Descend. The first year I went, which was last year, it was here in Central Oregon. It was about an hour drive. I'd say it was maybe 40 miles one way to where the camp was. This year it was over on the other side of the Cascades, so it was another 250-mile round trip kind of thing. Go camping a lot up behind Sisters, and that's about, I don't know, it's about 30 miles, 35 miles from the house, so that's about 60 miles round trip. It doesn't get a lot of mileage every year. I'd be surprised if it got 1,000 miles every year. It's got a V6 engine, and I think it's called a R22. I'm not sure. And depends on where I am and what kind of gas I buy as to what the mileage is. My mechanic made a recommendation that I've lived by, and that is use the best gas you can get for this rig. And I do that. And for here on the West Coast, that's Chevron. Now, when I use Chevron gas, and I always do, I get anywhere from 11 to 14 miles to the gallon. Not bad for a rig that's got a lot of heavy liquid in it, gasoline and water. And but when we went to Pennsylvania, interesting, I didn't know this until we went. There's no Chevron on the other side of the Rockies, so I had to buy whatever I could find. I tried to use Sinclair. Sometimes that wasn't available. And it was interesting because it was really flat on the other side of the Rockies, almost all the way to the East Coast. But I only got 7 or 8, maybe 9 miles to the gallon, not using Chevron. Over here, like I said, I get anywhere from 11 to 14 miles to the gallon, and that's going up and down and up and down. So you can see what having the right kind of gasoline does for you. I believe it's a 17-gallon gas tank. Ignore that sunny day window covering there on the right, but that console there didn't come with the rig. I bought that, and it's just sitting in there. There wasn't anything in between these two seats except the floor, which is another thing. They don't have the insulation in these older models that they do have in the newer models, so the floor can get kind of warm in the driving compartment. Right behind the cab is sort of storage, and that window screen there put across the windshield, and basically the cab becomes a closet. I can put a lot of stuff up there that I'm bringing here in the back. Everything's out because I'm getting ready to put Toi Yoda away for the season, but so that's where that is. And I've got some flashlights and those kinds of things. Those are stabilizer jacks to keep it from bouncing when you're walking around inside. Okay, so this is the living area. This is where I spend time living when I'm not outside living. while on the road, and it's a really neat, cool place. Let's take a look at it. This is the sleeping area. When I got it, it came with just regular cushions. There's like 4 or 5 or 6 cushions. This cushion right here actually is about from here to about there, and it comes up, and if that centerpiece wasn't there in the cab, somebody could actually step right there and come right into this. But I find that I just like to leave the bed the way it is. So this is what it looks like in the main part of the living area. Got a 4-burner stove right here, and there's a microwave down there, and I have to tell you that I don't think it's ever been used since we've had it, because you have to be plugged into a landline to use it. You can't, so I use it for storage, of course. Okay, we've got a hood right here, and it's also got a light, which helps. And then this is the case, the cupboard for the pots and pans, and a cutting board. This is the case for the dishes, and another cutting board. This is the sink. It's a dual sink, one here, one there. Basically, the dishes get washed here, and they get put into the piece right here. Okay? A lot of windows. Underneath the seat, the couch right there, the sofa, is where the water tank is, and it's basically just the water tank. There's a few electronics under there, but not much. Then we have the dinette here. That's pretty nice. It's very comfortable. I usually just sit right there and look out the window, and because I can look out both windows here and see things. Now, of course, the shades go up and down, and so you might be asking, well, what's that right there? Well, what you can do is you can take these are windshield covers, and you can put it right down there and attach it, and it blocks everything out from the cab, and it stays warmer back here when it's cold, and it doesn't allow anybody to look in. Ignore that right there. That's a 4-post canopy that I usually set up right outside the door while camping. It's got a refrigerator. Refrigerator's nice and large. It's not as large as the bigger rigs, but it also has a freezer. I've seen some of these where above the refrigerator it's blank and people have put televisions. I don't really watch TV, so I stream on my computer basically, so I don't need a television up there. That allows for these extra containers. Storage here. You can see baskets for food. And here we've got stuff related to the RV itself, and we have more containers for storage. And then over here we've got baskets for batteries, all kinds of stuff there. Here's where I put my clothes, as you can see. Then all the way back in the back here is the toilet. Now, a couple of things about using the bathroom. First off, there's a shower, but I've never used the shower. As I may have mentioned outside, it's only got a 4-gallon hot water tank. So I've never used this. It's become more storage. There's the toilet, and it's a nice toilet. I'm not going to run it for you because I just had the whole rig winterized, and I don't want to ruin the winterization. It gets very cold here, well below freezing. During the winter, it's not unusual to be 20 to 30 degrees below freezing here. It's got a sink. We've got a cupboard here with a nice big mirror. And we've put a shoe rack here, as you can see, and we use that for more storage. And then it's a closet. We keep all kinds of things in here. This is the pieces that we put to stabilize or to level out, and an extra blanket. And then up above here is more cupboard space where we keep the towels and things like that. The thing that I forgot to mention is underneath the seats here is more storage, all kinds of storage down there. And then underneath this seat right here, the cupboard is right by the front door. And like the stools that we use to get in and out, and things that we need for the outside are in there. Now, it is an older rig, 30 some odd years old, and there are places where it's starting to show its age. This is the thermostat, and it can be a little difficult for me to figure out what's going on, but also this shows that's the pump to run the water. This tells me how much I've got. You can see the battery is all green. Everything else is pretty much low. And again, 3/4 in the liquid propane tank. But it is getting old. You can see the wallpaper there is coming off a little bit, and it actually did come off right here. So I had a picture that I took of us camping blown up, and we put it there. It's a very, very comfortable area to live in when camping or on the road. And another interesting fact is that I don't use it at all during the winter. Where I live, it's not unusual to get 2 to 3 feet of snow from anywhere from December through March. And so I'm not going to drive this in the snow. And so the insurance on this costs me about $71 a month when I use it. However, when I put it away for the season, I tell my insurance company and they drop it down to about $21 a month. So there is that savings there. I like that. We bought this about I'd say 8 or 9 years ago. We paid $8,300 for it. If you go on Facebook now, you can find Toi Yoda RV groups where people are selling theirs. And usually this year, this model and those models very close to it, they sell from anywhere from $12,000, $15,000. I've seen some that are as much as $19,000, but I don't think people are getting anything for it. The ones that are not in quite the condition this is in, they go from $7,000 to $10,000. And this is an old rig. It doesn't leak. It hasn't leaked at all. And I've never had any mechanical issues with it. I've had to replace the tires, as I mentioned. And this summer, the fan above the fan in the bathroom broke. Not the fan, the the plastic over the cover broke, and I took it into the place where I have work done on this, where they winterize it, and they looked at it and they said we were hoping that just the plastic could be replaced, but they said they're going to have to replace the whole thing, and so they said it'd be about $300. So in 8 or 9 years, replacing the tires, doing the regular maintenance of oil and that kind of thing, and then having it winterized every year and then unwinterized in the spring doesn't cost a lot. Doesn't cost a lot at all. And we're really attached. That's why we've named it. It's Toi Yoda. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, give it a thumbs up. I can always use subscribers, so if you feel like seeing where we go with this, subscribe. And I also go to a lot of events without him. What is Toi Yoda? Toyota's got to be a him, doesn't it? Yeah, it's a he, not a she. And if you want to help the channel keep going, and it's really needed, down below is a thank you button, and you can leave a tip. I don't have Patreon, I don't have anything, but that's the only way. All right, so I hope you liked it. I don't know if we're going to have anything next week. But that's another thing that happens in the winter. I used to be able to take the car and go over the other side of the Cascades, where it's much warmer and much milder, and Debbie and I would do stuff, but Debbie's gone, and I'm still feeling it a lot, and so I don't know what's happening this winter. Stick around and see. So we will see you next time.